Thank you. So I will be presenting very briefly our business action on climate campaign that we launched last year. And what we want to do at Business in the Community with this campaign is to challenge and support all businesses in Northern Ireland, regardless of size, sector, or whether or not you are a member of Business in the Community. We want to support and challenge you to address the climate emergency. So the challenge part is our climate action pledge, where you commit to reducing your direct emissions either by 50% or 30% by 2030. And whenever an organization signs the pledge, the biggest commitment, apart from reaching the target, obviously, is also you commit to reporting your greenhouse gas emissions every year to Business in the Community so that we can measure the collective progress that we've done as a movement, as a campaign, as a group of companies. The idea is not to point fingers here, but rather to say, look, this is how, as a group of companies and engaged companies, we have contributed to reducing emissions in Northern Ireland. So this is the Climate Action Pledge. We also recognize that challenge is good, but it's sometimes not enough. So we want to support you every step of the way. And I must say that we don't want to overlap with what InvestNI or other organizations are already doing, but rather to have a complementary approach. So the support that we want to provide is threefold. The first bit is around awareness raising. So that's all about carbon literacy. So we are working with the Carbon Literacy Project in Manchester on this. And the idea is that we help to raise the global level of knowledge on climate. We help to raise it. So we help to gain that culture around what is climate change, what is climate breakdown, what will happen if we don't do anything, what can we do, what each individual and each business should be doing to play its part. The second brick, which is probably the most interesting one, is around practical support. So that's guidelines, toolkits, webinars like this one today, bespoke advisory on, well, one day we'll have everything from measuring one's emissions to defining a strategy to engaging stakeholders, engaging one's supply chain to reduce its emissions. At the moment, we have the very basic ones, so measuring one's carbon footprint, defining a mitigation strategy for one's business. But we want to expand that. So here, the idea again is not to do it in your place, because there are already plenty of organizations doing that, plenty of consultants existing on the market, but rather to give you the right level of information and the right tools so that you are empowered to measure your own carbon footprint, to define your own strategy, etc. So that's practical support. And this is a bit that we are building as we go and when we have conversations with businesses just like you. And the third bit is around local carbon offsetting projects. So this will come later in the campaign. Again, we have only launched last year, so we are just having our first reporting exercise coming in May, June. And the local carbon offsetting projects, there are some great things happening locally with RSPB, with Ulster Wildlife, that are developing some projects that will help to capture carbon locally in peatlands, woodlands, etc. And we just want to act as a link between interested businesses and those amazing projects that are happening locally. But that will come later in the campaign. So you can find all of that, all of what I've said on our webpage, bitcni.org.uk/climate. And my key message for you now is that now is the right time to act. So we have a flowchart here that will help you to know what your next step should be. So do you measure your greenhouse gas emissions? If you don't, we can help with toolkits, advisory, and templates, so please reach out. If you measure your greenhouse gas emissions, have you set a target to reduce those emissions? No, well, sign our climate action pledge and you will have a target that is very likely aligned with the science-based targets. If you have set a target and this target is not public, then make a public commitment and make yourself accountable to your stakeholders, your employees, your suppliers, your clients, etc. So sign the Climate Action Pledge. And if you already have a target that is public, then join a local movement of organizations that are acting locally and in collaboration on the climate emergency and sign the Climate Action Pledge as well. So thank you, everyone. And remember that to change everything, we need everyone.
Thank you, Geraldine. It's great to hear what business in the community is doing in this space. I'm sure the audience found it interesting too, and I would just encourage businesses to contact us to avail of the various support offerings. It's now time for our Q&A session, and we already have some questions from the audience.